Let's talk about the unsung heroes of the molecular world, coordination compounds. They are absolutely everywhere, orchestrating the most fundamental processes of life and technology, but they do it all from behind the scenes. So let's pull back the curtain and see where you can find them.
Okay, think about this. Right now, inside every single one of your red blood cells, you've got millions of hemoglobin molecules, and at the heart of each one is a coordination compound of iron. Its structure is perfectly, and I mean perfectly, designed to snatch oxygen from your lungs and then drop it off exactly where your body needs it. It's the ultimate delivery service, all thanks to coordination chemistry.
And what about the energy that powers, well, pretty much all life on Earth? That all starts with photosynthesis. And the star of that show is chlorophyll. Right at the center of that amazing molecule is a magnesium ion, held in a special coordination complex. That precise structure is what lets a plant grab the energy from sunlight and turn it into fuel. No chlorophyll, no us.
Even the incredible, dazzling colors of gemstones, like rubies, yep, you guessed it, that's them too. That vibrant red color comes from chromium ions being held in a very specific coordination setup. It's that structure that dictates which colors of light get absorbed and which ones get reflected back to us as that brilliant, fiery red.
Okay, so they're in our blood, they're in the plants all around us, and they're in precious gems. But what in the world are these powerful molecules? How do they work? Well, to figure that out, we have to jump in a time machine and solve a fantastic chemical detective story.
So picture this, it's the late 19th century. Chemists felt like they had a pretty good handle on how atoms bonded together. But there were these few weird compounds that just refused to play by the rules. And right in the middle of this whole mess was a brilliant young Swiss chemist named Alfred Werner.
And get this, Werner worked fast. He was only 26 years old when, as the story goes, he had this incredible flash of insight, woke up in the middle of the night, and just scribbled out the core of his groundbreaking coordination theory. It was an idea that would completely rewrite the textbooks and, yeah, eventually win him the Nobel Prize.
So this is the data that was driving everyone crazy. Werner was looking at these different cobalt compounds, and he ran a simple test to see how many free chloride ions they had. But the results, they just made no sense at all. The yellow one coughed up all 3 of its chlorides, the purple one, only 2, and the green and violet ones only gave up 1. What was going on?
And this was the real head-scratcher. Just look at those last 2, the green and the violet compounds. On paper, they have the exact same chemical formula. 1 cobalt, 3 chlorides, 4 ammonias. But they had totally different colors. How is that even possible?
To solve this, Werner had to do something radical. He basically had to throw out the old rulebook and propose a completely new way of thinking about how atoms connect to each other. Here's the core of his big idea. Werner said that metals actually have 2 different kinds of valence, or bonding power. First, there's a primary valence. Think of this as a weak connection. It's what held on to those chloride ions that were so easily lost. But then, and this was the breakthrough, he proposed a secondary valence. This was a powerful, directional bond that locked a specific number of molecules directly to the metal, creating a super-stable inner core. He called this stable core the coordination sphere. You can seriously think of it like a molecular fortress. Anything inside those square brackets is part of the team. It acts as a single, unified group that just doesn't break apart. And that's why some of those chloride ions seem to disappear. They were locked safely inside the fortress walls.
And at the very heart of this sphere, you have the central atom. In this case, our cobalt ion. It's the anchor, the sun that the whole system revolves around in a very specific, fixed geometry. And the molecules or ions that are attached directly to that central atom? Those are called ligands. In Werner's puzzle, these were the ammonia molecules and some of the chloride ions. They're the building blocks that give the whole complex its shape and, ultimately, its purpose.
But Werner's theory did more than just explain why some ions were stuck inside the fortress. It also provided the smoking gun that finally solved the green versus violet mystery. He realized it all came down to one simple thing: the arrangement of those ligands in 3D space. It was all about the shape.
Werner figured that in the violet compound, the 2 chloride ligands that were locked inside the sphere were sitting right next to each other, at a 90-degree angle. This arrangement is what we now call the cis isomer.
But in the green one, he proposed that those same 2 chloride ligands were on completely opposite sides of the cobalt atom, 180 degrees apart, the trans isomer. It's the same exact set of parts, just assembled differently. And that simple change in 3D shape creates a totally different molecule with a different color.
And that's the solution.
The green and violet compounds were isomers. They had the same parts list, but a different blueprint. Werner's theory of a fixed, geometric coordination sphere was the key that unlocked the whole puzzle. Mystery solved.
Werner's revolutionary idea didn't just solve a puzzle. It opened up an entirely new field of chemistry. Today, we don't just study these compounds, we design and build them to solve some of the world's most complex problems.
And the applications today are just staggering. In medicine, a platinum coordination compound called cisplatin is one of the most effective anti-cancer drugs ever made, all because its specific shape lets it attack cancer cell DNA. In industry, these compounds are crucial catalysts that speed up reactions to make everything from plastics to pharmaceuticals. From purifying gold to the old-school chemistry of developing photos, Werner's discovery is everywhere, and its impact is absolutely massive.
So, after that journey from a 19th century mystery all the way to modern medicine, let's just quickly recap the big takeaways. First, these compounds are the hidden architects doing the heavy lifting in both nature and technology. Second, Alfred Werner's stroke of genius was proposing a totally new type of bond, that secondary valence, which creates that stable inner core, the coordination sphere. And finally, and this is the most important part, shape is everything. That specific 3D arrangement of ligands is what gives a compound its unique color, its properties, and its job.
Which brings us to a final, pretty cool thought. Werner solved a mystery from the past by understanding molecular shape. Today, chemists are like molecular architects, designing brand new coordination compounds with custom shapes to be targeted medicines, super efficient catalysts, or futuristic materials. It really makes you wonder, what incredible problems are we going to solve by designing the next perfect shape?